Hello, my name's Daniel Fowler. This is my third video, my first real devlog, because the last one I forgot to unmute my mic. Anyways, the title for this game is called Smoke&Armor. That might change, because it used to be about more traditionally metal tanks, though in a medieval knight fantasy style. But now you'll see it's a little bit different. This is my UI. I have kind of a writing sound effect and and an underline. You can adjust the volumes. The music's pretty quiet here, but so in this game you'll be, this is sort of like World of Tanks, in that there are three nations and you'll be fighting across these continents. There'll be a kind of neutral continent in the middle that's more of a free-for-all zone, but most battles will be between blue and green, or blue and red, or red and green, And then in the middle of each continent there's going to be a general melee, which allows you to basically fight against your own team in sort of a deathmatch situation. See, I do have a button here so that eventually the system will check to see if there's people hosting enough servers, or if all the servers are full. If all the servers are full and you don't want to host, then you're going to have to wait for spots to open up. But if you're allowed to host, then you can host your own game. Right now this really doesn't do anything, but it is remembered. So in lieu of that, right now I just have a host and join situation. Right now this is only local. I'm going to turn my music down a little bit more. So I don't have to yell over it. Obviously no one else is hosting at the moment, so right now this is my game. And as you can see, the tank is more of a building tank. This one is I just made last night and it's not finished. I need to put better wheels or maybe even some tracks on it. I need to move the engine so it's not half exposed like that. Or maybe it is exposed. You'll see on the other tank it's pretty exposed. But this is still one of the lighter tanks, but it is a little bit beefier than the other tank I'll show you. But in contrast, the turret can barely swivel. So this tank is all about... oh, there we are. My hands were on the wrong keys. This tank is all about having to turn to shoot your target. You can see there's a little bit of adjustment. I'll move it so that its crosshair is the thicker crosshair for the barrel, and you can see that it can move a little bit, especially up and down, to get my target. This will be better when I can zoom in. Just showing off some vehicle physics right now. Using the Unity wheel colliders is a huge pain, but eventually you can get them to work. Right now I have a big problem because of the grass here. These little grass tufts are actually pretty solid objects, and they will literally stop my tank dead. So I need to fix that later. I also probably need to tone down the dust trails. See my gauge on the side is tracking my velocity. It should also track the engine output, and that part of the dial does work, but right now the engine isn't really outputting anything, any information. That will affect the top speed and agility of the tank. This tank, by the way, is called the Viscount. The other tank I've got right now is called the Baron. These will be the two lightest tanks. The other tanks will be much bigger. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the other tank now. Okay, this is the Baron. You can see it's a bit more traditional house-like, made entirely out of wood. The engine is poking out the back and it's very exposed. The front has a little bit of stone as sort of an armor plate, and it's got a barrel, a turret, I mean, that can swivel around at a much greater degree of control. You can see the turret's crosshairs racing to track wherever I go. It can't actually go as high as the camera can go. You can see it struggles a bit. It's got basically the same performance right now as the Viscount. The Viscount was basically built on top of this chassis. But you can see it's just a little bit easier to mouse around and shoot at your target. So right now this is tank controls, and you can see a bit of a failing of my understanding of the wheel collider. I'm slipping way too much when I'm trying to spin in place. The wheels are starting to do weird stuff. I've let go of the controls entirely at this point. But the wheels are still figuring out what's going on. I do have an improved wheel collider asset I've downloaded, but I've yet to really crack that open. If I can get up some speed. Whoa. So yeah, the basic idea of this is World of Tanks, but also more Game of Thrones, where you have tanks instead of dragons. And the tanks I'm sort of building out of my environmental assets, so they will look like homes, towers, keeps, you know, even big fortresses for the bigger monster tanks. You know, this is just a little test area. The battle maps will have to be a lot bigger to support the really big guys. Towers might be more like artillery in this game, you know. I've yet to decide if I'm going to limit every tank to one main cannon, or if some tanks might have, you know, artillery and cannon and multiple cannons. We'll see. A lot of my process is changes regularly. So like I said, this used to be more of a traditional metal tank, you know, though still medieval in style. But I'm pretty happy with this. I'm not happy with the sound effect. You can hear kind of a creaky wheel sound effect. That's the best I've got right now. All the tank sound effect assets I can find are for like Abrams or modern tanks. I really want something that sounds more like well, maybe I should look for train sound effect. You know, but like the sound of a ballista being wheeled across a battlefield, or maybe an old diesel tractor. Anyways, I'm not an expert on sound, so I don't know exactly what I want or how to describe it. I can just kind of look around and see what I can find. Also, I do have a sky, this is actually a sky dome that allows me to change it from day and night. So right now, for some reason, there's both in the sky. But this is my third devlog. It's pretty much all I've got. I'm going through some tutorials to get the network part of it running. And I've got 2 tanks now, though one of them is kind of half finished. So we can do some fighting soon. Thank you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good one.